Alright. For today, I wanted to check out Spiffing Brit's newest video. Point of view, you're playing the hardest 2007 Flash game, and it is Age of War. I absolutely love this game. I enjoyed the soundtrack just because it is a very simple one that it's played a lot, but I enjoy it. The game, great. I don't know if he's going to be playing both Age of War 1 and 2, or if he's only focusing on 1. There's some easy exploits I know off the bat that he's most likely going to try to do for this, but two of them, like in the first one, when you're in the primal age or whatever it's referred to as, I don't really remember. It's been so long, but you can actually win with just the egg turret on the thing because it can actually glitch out and target their base, and it will just fire across the map constantly. I try to remember. I think it's on certain browsers that happens, or if you do certain things, but that is a thing that can happen. So you can basically win by the second age, or by the time the enemies become the second age, because your turret just killing them at the whole, like the entire first time. The other one is a similar glitch can happen when you're in the final age, and you have like one of the laser turrets. It can also just shoot across the map and attack their base directly. So I don't know if he's going to be showing off those ones or what, or if he's going to be playing only the first one. But let's get into this and see how it goes.
Do you remember Age of War? I do. This is my favorite Flash game, and chances are you fall into one of two categories. Number one, this is also your favorite Flash game, or category two, you weren't even alive when it first came out.
You know what? True. If this isn't one of your favorite Flash games, you were not alive.
In 2007. For everyone in category 1, I'm sorry for mentally aging you by 200 years. Anyway, this is a surprisingly simple game. You have a base, the enemy has a base, and you throw units at each other until one side loses. There are special abilities and different units tied to different ages. It's a great game. However, there is one aspect of this game that has eluded me my entire life, and so today I've decided to return and set things straight. The impossible mode difficulty was, for an entire generation of gamers,
Impossible.
There are forums dedicated to trying to decode the actual path to beat this game's highest difficulty. It is insane. So now that I am a professional game exploiter, I thought I should return and see if this impossible game is actually easy. Right, here we are, crazygames.com.
Oh, that's the one he's going for. Because there was like so many browsers that are Flash game sites that would have this.
The home of all of the best Flash games you could possibly imagine. Prepare for nostalgia. Oh yeah! Wow, pro gamers. So yeah, this game was made by one person in Flash, and you can tell that by the fact that if you click the button that says extras, good job, presumably child developer of this video game. Oh god. Anyway, we're going to play ourselves a game. We've got normal, harder, and impossible. But come on, I've played tens of thousands of hours of video games. I am a god at everything I touch. There is absolutely no way that impossible difficulty is going to be too difficult for me. Yes, it's quite simple. The enemies spawn in, and I've got my units. I've got my base that I'll defend, and I'll train my clubmen. There we go, I've got all of my units coming out. I've spent all of my money. There's just one slight issue. My units die in 2 hits, but their units take, like 4 to kill. A game that doesn't seem very fair. This impossible difficulty doesn't seem well balanced at all. Quick, let's get some more units out. Oh no, this is very bad. I have no money, and the enemy are at my gates. Right, well, impossible difficulty is impossible.
I was gonna say, yep, time for a restart. Well, he showed us the initial difficulty, so the stats are definitely way different compared to the units, but let's see where he's gonna start. I'm assuming he's gonna probably do like 1 melee and then like 2 egg slingshots, and then he's gonna try to bankroll with that style, or what? I don't know. Let's see how he goes with that.
Wait, hang on a second. I meant to be a god gamer. How can I be destroyed by impossible difficulty? No! And of course the dev has to flex on me. Maybe you didn't tried hard enough. Yes, I agree. Maybe I didn't tried hard enough. Okay, so impossible difficulty is very impossible. The enemy units have significantly more health, they do significantly more damage, so even if I were to mirror the opposition's actions, and for every clubman they sent out, I sent out my own, I would just inevitably lose. But what if I told you it didn't have to be this way, and the path to actually beating the impossible difficulty is to lose? Yes, that's right. In order to win, you must first understand loss. And in order to lose, we're going to play on normal difficulty. That's right, it's just a regular game. So welcome to the game. The catchy soundtrack is here, and on normal difficulty, everything is basically a complete fair playing field, where the main advantage I have over the AI is that I am ever so slightly more competent in decision making than they are. Now, of course, the enemy have defeated my first initial wave, but luckily I can activate my special, which is to summon raining meteors from the sky that one-hit absolutely every enemy unit. Great stuff, we get a load of money, and now they continue their march towards our base. Luckily for me, I can buy the ultimate deadly weapon, the Egg Automatic. This is a hammer that is quite simply rigged up to some kind of chicken that in turn, when hit, will fire out eggs. So with this glorious weapon, we can very comfortably start making more progress in the game, and rest assured that the enemy can't get close to our base. Honestly, I love this game. There's so much nostalgia for me just being back here. The music, the very simple graphics, the poor chicken being whacked by a hammer over and over again. Yes, it's everything I love and more. Now, the enemy AI isn't exactly very advanced, as you could probably guess from a game that came out in 2007. It's mostly set up on a predetermined path without much added complexity.
Okay, wait, actually, I'm gonna interrupt right here. The crazy thing is, this game style has actually been seeing a resurgence, like, through mobile games recently. Like, I've been seeing, like, quite a few ads for some of these, and I'm like, this is actually crazy that 17 years later, that we're seeing a lot more of these coming out, and, like, kind of in droves. Like, a few of them, like, pop off, like, mimicking the style in a way, and then a bunch of them copy, and then start trying to do the same thing for, like, a quick little cash grab kind of thing, because mobile games, if you didn't know, they are where you want to go to make money in the short term, I'd say, maybe even long term. Like, making a mobile game and having it do even decently okay is insane value. It's where so much profits, and that's why there's, like, so many people, like, aim for just mass producing mobile games and hoping that some of them will get some money out of it.
But as time goes on, it will get more powerful and it will bring out more deadly units like these Dino Riders. Yes, they pretty much just one-hit anything I throw out in front of them. The only issue is I can hit them with a meteor and they still die in one hit. Perfect stuff. So, as the music swells, let's train some clubmen and send out a few slingshot man and undergo the glorious prehistoric arms race. Okay, the Dino Rider is actually really powerful. Look at him go. Okay, and the enemy AI is actually upgraded to the next age. Because yes, this is Age of War, not War of the Prehistoric Era, which means that as you gather experience, provided you hit the 4,000 mark, you can head on to the next age, and begin the very exciting process of summoning in knights to fight. Of course, unfortunately for these poor knights, I can just still whack a meteor on their head, and with the experience generated, wha-bam, we're now also in the medieval era, and I can train my own swordsmen, and I can even build a catapult, which, as we all know, is the second best medieval siege weapon. But all of this raises a question. As you can tell, on normal difficulty, I am more than proficient to actually beat the game. In fact, it really wouldn't be that much of a challenge. Even the me of yesteryear could probably do this with my eyes closed. But we're not here to beat the normal difficulty. We're here for the impossible difficulty, which means we must enter the Renaissance Age. And for that, we need 14,000 experience. So let the farming of these gentlemen begin. I guess one thing to mention is that every age is slightly different, not just in its units, but also in your special power. So for example, in this age, we have the fire arrow rather than the meteor. And let's unleash a wave of 5 archers. That should be enough to deal with this horse. I do really like that they're called archers, despite the fact that they're clearly using a crossbow, but, you know. Oh, and we're actually ready for the next era. We've got 14,000 experience, so we're going to do just that. Welcome to the Renaissance era of the game. In this era, we can train ourselves a duelist who is very proficient and very tanky in comparison to the soldiers of old. However, there is one issue. I said my goal is to lose, so we're going to engage a little bit of shenanigan here, because in the third age of the game, the Renaissance era, we gain access to this ability here, the presumably Jesus on a cross ability. This is a healing skill. Quite simply, if we have any units out on the battlefield who are injured and this ability is activated, they will slowly begin regaining their health. It's very powerful, but as it's a special ability, it only lasts for a short period of time. That is, unless you start thinking ever so slightly outside of the box. And that's where exploits come into the picture.
So I'm not actually sure what these exploits are going to be, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to be something about, like, if he's able to use the heal and then either game over at the same time, or while it's active, or he's gonna like, refresh the browser or something, and then it's gonna keep the healing buff, and then he can just carry it over to the next playthrough, I guess. That's what I'm assuming the exploit's potentially going to be.
Sure, because I've deleted all of my towers, and now right as we get down to having no HP,
Yep.
I activate my special ability. Now you might say, Spiff, hang on a second, you activated a special ability that heals units without having any units on the battlefield and then just immediately lost the game. What's the point of that? Well, in video game coding perspective, what I've done is I've activated the line of code that activates the healing ability, and that means the healing ability is toggled into an on position. However, because the game has ended, we've actually bypassed any lines of code that would mean that this should be turned off, which
Yeah.
means that when I press play again and select impossible difficulty, something very interesting will happen. I can spend $100 on a Dino Rider and some money on these slingshot men, and you'll notice that
Yep,
my
there's
units
the
have
heal.
a faint godly glow on them. This godly glow
Wait,
is
why
the
is it applies to
healing
the
glow.
enemies too?
So yes, when this unit hits us here, you'll notice the Dino Rider's health pool just simply refreshes. Yes, it really is as powerful as that. It's absurdly powerful, in fact. Of course, the enemy themselves also have a faint yellow glow on them, but you can just ignore it. Theirs isn't real, mine is. So yes, we've bypassed the game's logic and escaped the laws of reality that were constraining me in my place. We now have a Dino Rider that can self-heal, and whilst the enemy do have some dangerous units, we're positioned so that we can actually defeat them. I mean, even on impossible difficulty, my slingshots are able to take multiple attacks. Let's activate the meteors. Go, meteors, go! None of you are targeting the enemy base. Great, that was the worst meteoring I've ever seen. Alright, come on, we're starting to get close to their base. Come on, get their slingshot people. Go, slingshot people! Okay, the AI has now actually been able to train their own Dino Riders, which is, you know, great for them. I don't really care about that. Good for you. Unfortunately, because we're on impossible difficulty, even though I am technically cheating by having healing, their Dino Riders are actually just really, really absurdly powerful, and there is not much I can do to stop them. Great. Okay, it looks like we're not going to be able to beat them in the first stage of the game. We're going to have to get creative and fight them in the next stage. So we send out those meteors, and you know what? We can actually do something cheesy here. I'm going to press the space bar, which pauses the game.
This is where this is what I was wondering, if there was gonna be some exploits with pausing, and I'm assuming he's about to do it.
Now, you might remember that the meteor ability is really overpowered. It targets all of the enemy units and it blows them up. There's just one slight issue. Pausing the game doesn't actually pause the cooldown timer on that. So, quite simply, when I
can
unpause
spam
the
it.
game like so, progress on that meteor cooldown has been made. But provided I wait a few more seconds and then press unpause, you'll notice that the meteor ability is now almost completely off cooldown. I will pause the game again, we'll wait a few more seconds, and when you look at that, despite just being used, the meteor ability is ready to go
Wow, I didn't know that was another exploit.
once more. Meaning that yes, in order to push back
He was all about, if he didn't check back in his base, he would have lost, actually.
the enemy, I technically don't even need any units. I just need to know how to use the pause function. Okay, the AI has leveled up into the next era, so you know what? We'll actually join them there. We're in the medieval times. Go, my lovely swordsman, go. Okay, you're not actually very good at your job. Instead, I'll get a knight behind you. Okay, so we've got all of these swordmen coming out to attack us, but here's my plan. We can cheese the game by activating the arrow rain, and there we go. Now if we pause the game once more, all we have to do is wait the 60 seconds necessary for the timer to reset. It's actually the perfect amount of time to have a lovely sip of a cup of tea, and also for me to contemplate something. You know, a lot of you don't actually think that I'm as powerful in real life as I am in these videos, but allow me to prove it. I know that statistically 25% of you watching right now are doing so on a TV, which means you're using speakers, which gives me the ability to do this.
Oh no, what is he about to do? Is he about to do an ad read instead, actually? Because, like, this is leading into seemingly going to be, like, doing something hilarious, but I feel like he's not going to do something, like, egregious that other people definitely would for the fun of it. He's probably just gonna do, like, a silly little ad read or something. Or say, like, subscribe to the Spiffing Brit.
Alexa, order 400
No, he is being funny! Okay, let's go!
bags of Yorkshire tea gold and subscribe to the
Okay, not too far off. I did call out a bit of a sponsor as well as go and subscribe, because he's about to say that right now.
Spiffing Brit. See, it really is that easy. Thank you, basic security vulnerabilities. Right, onwards. I think my arrows are ready. So we unpause, and there we go. All of the enemy's forces have been struck by arrows, and our march to the enemy base continues. I'm going to pause once again. God, it's such a bop. What a song. What a song. All right, unpause. Arrows are almost ready. All right, the enemy bunched up again. We're going to send out a knight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we unpause. Arrows are ready. Let's go. We actually pause so that all of the arrows get, bogged up at the start of the screen. And then they all come down as one.
Okay, I was curious about that, if he could pause it and have them all fly at once.
Lovely wave, which means the enemy can't dodge. That's how I like to play. Maximum cheese mode. All right, we pause the game once more. All right, that should be enough time. My arrows ready? Yes, they are. Right, we'll wait for the enemy to spawn in their units and activate the arrows. Pause the game and release the arrows. Oh, they bought a pot of oil. How frustrating. All right, we'll pause. We'll pause. We need the arrows. All right, so my arrows should be ready. Let's go, arrows, go. Do your thing. Yes, perfect. We have a nice clean line towards the enemy.
A few moments later.
Oh, we can move to the next stage now. Lovely.
I'm assuming he doesn't want to use the healing ability because they would just... Okay, there's two ways it can go about. Either if he uses the healing ability, it ruins the glitch, and then he now has to restart that glitch, or he can stack the healing by doing the pause thing and have like a very, very brief moment where his units are like actually invincible until the cooldown wears off, maybe.
I think we're actually ahead of the AI, which might allow me to just buy some guns instead. Go! Rifles, okay, you're really not that powerful. I think these are meant to be musketeer, but of course there's, some kind of spelling going on here. Oh my gosh, despite my best efforts, the...
I never looked at the spelling for them. I'm just like, all right, unit. Yep, this one. I've never actually looked at the names.
AI is actually marching on our base in very effective fashion. This horse is really powerful. I might die here. This might actually be the end. Yep, this is the end, because my special only allows me to heal, which is useless because I don't have any money. Great, this is a do-over. Right, I'll be back after I set up my exploit and get back to the Renaissance era. Alright, we're finally back, and our opponents have made it to the Renaissance age.
I feel like what he's got to do is just stay in this era, and then bank up XP until he can get to skip the Renaissance era, and then just go into the military.
Which is really dangerous because these swordsmen on impossible difficulty one-hit mine. So yes, we don't exactly stand a chance against them. So this time, in order to give us an edge, we're having to use a little bit of cheaty technology, otherwise known as turrets. Basically what I've done is that before heading into the next stage of the game, I've deliberately loaded myself up with a large amount of money. So that way, when we do evolve, we should hopefully have ourselves some turrets that will do the job of defeating the enemy for us, because we won't be able to use our special ability, as we already have our healing bonus active. But yes, the enemy's units are just fundamentally too powerful. Impossible difficulty is well and truly impossible, and the main reason I'm still able to get through it is that my healing ability lets my units last just a little bit longer, and that by pausing the game, my special attacks head off of cooldown, allowing me to do massive amounts of damage to the enemy. That, and also pausing the game when activating the special attack, allows us to basically blanket bomb the entire map. Right, with that final kill complete, I think we move on to the next stage, and with this, we buy ourselves a large cannon turret. This bad boy is going to shoot the enemy and hopefully do a decent amount of damage. We're also going to grab ourselves a jeweler, who, as we can see, still absolutely gets shredded by the enemy. So we're all going to need to do our best here to try and defeat the enemy that is most definitely absolutely horrifically overpowered. I'm going to delete some other turrets so that way I hopefully have enough money to buy another unit. Oh my goodness, I'm going to die again, aren't I? Oh my goodness, we are so close to death at all times. This is mental. Okay, we've now got 2 cannons up and running, but even so, with the enemy's guns, they output a ridiculous amount of damage. Okay, right, we're finally back out on the offensive, and hopefully we can build up a little bit of cash in our reserves, so that way we can get a turret going, because oh my goodness, yes, they've got themselves a cannon. Yeah, the cannon is just a massive one-hit kill machine. There is absolutely nothing we can do to stop it, and it will basically one-hit our base if we're not careful, so we need to churn out units like nobody's business, otherwise we will die. Come on, quick. quickly, get them out, get them out, get them out. Otherwise, we're dead. We'll all be dead if we don't have them. Oh my goodness, that was close. That was way too close. We're almost at the stage where we have enough experience to move on to the next stage, which means the AI will probably be there soon as well. And they've brought out another cannon boy. Oh my god, it's the worst. It's just the worst. Oh, there we go. Next era. Go, 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 go. Send out our bomb. There we go. Bomb plane is now going to unleash a carpet.
I can't believe he barely got through that. I feel like that definitely. I still think it would have probably been better because he is an exploiter. I don't know how much he opts in for like really stall. I mean, he's doing this anyway, so I mean, most likely he's gonna do it. But for how long he'd be willing to, if he had farmed XP in the Dark Ages, where he was just using the arrows to just farm XP and just skip the Renaissance era altogether.
Bombing. Deploy bombs. Yes. Okay, maybe we can survive this. Maybe we can just ever so slightly survive this.
I like in 2, you just have grenade throwers in the other one. They're just crawling around. It's so funny to me. But in this one, I think all I do is just spam the rifleman, and that's it.
We've got ourselves some melee infantry out on the battlefield fighting these cannon boys. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to pause the game again. The cannon boys are just too powerful. He's got so much health. I don't actually even have the money to buy more units. This is so impossible. Thank goodness I can just cheese the game. Otherwise, whew, we'd have a problem. All right, we're deploying the carpet bomber again. Go, lovely carpet bomber, go. Please save the day because my goodness, we will otherwise be screwed. That didn't even hit any of the other men. All right, we've paused the game again. I have to keep the game in a perpetual state of being held, so that way another bombing plane can be loaded up and sent out. Otherwise, it's game over. All right, unleash the bombs. Let's go, my lovely carpet bombs. Yes, big money, big money. We're actually able to buy ourselves a turret here, which should hopefully do a good job of shooting the enemy. Yep, there we go. We've got ourselves a brand new turret here that does a pretty decent job. There we go. Hit them, please. The problem is the units of this era just have significantly more health, which makes them really difficult to deal with. And oh my goodness, we could lose our base here again. Okay, pausing for another carpet bomb. All right, deploying carpet bomb now. Away you go, carpet bombs. Away you go. Splendid stuff. Good damage done from my carpet bombs. All right, deploy the bombers. Away you go. Good stuff. Yeet them into the ground. Lovely. And now we can buy ourselves a double machine gun turret, which does a little bit of damage. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's okay. It's got better range. Yeah, their base has 3,200 health. Mine has 294. I'm definitely playing it very close in terms of the general danger, because if one of these units gets slightly too close, it will unload a huge amount of attacks, and quite frankly, I can't get units out in time. Although, I guess that's not really true. There is another cheat with...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw that when he's paused and he has queued up infantry, they just come out while they're paused.
This game, which is that if I press this to buy a unit, I have to wait for it to train, but if I press it and pause the game and just wait a period of time, the unit then just appears. That's how video game works, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's buy ourselves another turret. There we go. With all of our turrets up and running, we are now properly doing damage. Let's buy the final turret spot for this age, and now the enemy unit shouldn't be able to get close. That is until they pull out a tank, at which point we're in the danger zone again. Oh, speaking of which, look, it's Mr. Danger Zone. How wonderful of him to come out and see us today, right? Unleash the bombs on the tank. As you can see, didn't really do that much damage. Luckily, the turrets are here to mop it up, and that's 9,100 from blowing up that tank, which is brilliant, as it now means we can move on to the final age of the game, the space age. That's right, here we are, with brand new access.
I'm trying to remember, because with these ones, I think it's the red one that glitches out and can shoot across. I can't remember exactly, but I know one of them. I'm pretty sure it has to be the bottommost turret spot for the glitch I was talking about at the beginning, where it will glitch out and it will fire like directly across and hit the units as they spawn, and then any extra shots as they're traveling will hit the base. You can just win that way.
Access to spicy turrets like this laser boy, which shoots off tiny green orbs, but it has really bad range. I probably shouldn't have bought it. Alright, so I've deliberately trained 2 new units and paused the game, so that way they train instantly. And now we're in a situation where we should be ready to deal with whatever the AI throws our way, because we're an age ahead of them until just now. There we go, they've caught up. Okay, right. So Operation Cheese the Game final mode is now upon us. And in this age, once again, the AI is absolutely cheating out the wazoo. Our units stand absolutely absolutely no chance against them, which means we can't play fair. Instead, we have to do a very silly strategy, using some of the fancy space-age technology that we've just got our hands on. Now, there's an interesting mechanic that happens when our turrets are shooting. You might notice that our red turret here that actually has decent range, when the enemy in front of it died, it continued firing for a little bit of time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's bringing it up. The thing I was talking about, this is what I've been, like, expecting to be, like, the main crux of the strategy to beat this.
And those bullets hit the enemy standing behind. It's going to happen here again. This range unit dies and a few shots land at the back. This is what we're going to use to actually beat the impossible difficulty, because otherwise we don't stand a chance. And I think with this last chap going down, yes, we now have ourselves 100,000, which means we can buy the best turret in the game, the Ion Ray. It fires these lovely blue orbs of near
Okay, so the blue one also does it.
instant death that do copious amounts of damage to the enemy, but most importantly they're going to allow us to hopefully break this game quite a bit. Oh dear, the enemy have brought out a tank. Great. Luckily for us, the blue weapon has such incredible range it can still hit the enemy, so let's go. Okay, tank blown up, that's 26,000 added to the bank. Wonderful stuff. Come on, keep up the damage. Alright, we're gonna sell that turret and buy ourselves another blue one. Perfect, 2 blue turrets now. With that, the enemy should now no longer be able to even get close to our base. The only issue is, how do we get close to theirs? And basically it's going to rely on us getting even more turrets. So what you can see is happening here is quite simply the enemy is spawning in more units, and we are somehow managing to shoot them from across the map. But occasionally a bullet
yeah, I
like
was gonna say, he zoomed in on purpose. He's showing that the projectile is going over and hitting the base.
this one here overshoots the enemy and hits its base, which you can notice by the fact that they are now on 4,640 health. Ooh, and make that 3,680. Yes, these turrets are so overpowered they quite simply reach across the map, and provided the occasional shot misses the enemy, we're in a situation where we overshoot them and manage to hit the base behind them, accidentally doing massive amounts of damage. Yes, they're down to half health. Who even needs units to beat Age of War? Where we're going, it's all about the turret. So with that, they're down to 1,340 health, and the next unit they bring in, come on. Yes, it's a lovely ranged boy. If we drop these two, we should overshoot, and come on, base, it's on 20 HP, 20 health. Oh my goodness, we almost have them. I can't shoot that guy, and yes, we did it.
There it is.
We did it. We beat this
Let's go.
impossible game that has eluded me for my entire life. Yes, impossible difficulty, Age of War. You thought you were meant to be difficult, but alas, you could easily be cheesed by just using the pause function of the game and stacking some overpowered healing mechanics. What do we get for winning? Quite simply, this incredible message. Congratulations, you won the war and destroyed your enemy.
I never I looked at that and my brain actually corrected it. I didn't even read that the way it's supposed to be when this screen popped up. Oh my god, I'm cooked.
Yes, with the enemy defeated,
The
I, the
anemone.
Spiffing Brit, reign supreme. We have managed to vanquish our foes in glorious style and pizzazz. And I'm very proud of myself. So there we have it, Age of War, a flash game from 2007 made by an indie dev purely for the functions of a competition. Lo and behold, does contain some exploits and bugs. Who would have imagined it? So if you have any other flash games from your past that you just couldn't quite beat and you'd like to see me break them, let me know what they are in the comment section. Thank you for giving it a like, and also a massive
There's not many. I'm trying to think of any Flash games that were like really difficult to beat, and I'm not really coming up with any that were crazy. I mean, like if you want to talk about the world's hardest game, like that's not really here or there for this kind of thing. If we were talking about like I don't know, swords and sandals or such, I don't know. But other than that, I don't think really there's any that have the same level of difficulty, I guess you could say, of being so difficult to beat and not just being difficult for the sake of being difficult. But anyways, actually let him finish.
thank you to our glorious YouTube channel members and Patreons who fund all of my nonsense. Anyway, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a lovely day, and goodbye for now.
All right, so that was a fun one. I did kind of anticipate some of the glitches that were going to go out into this one. Like, I knew turrets were the way to go. That's how I've won, like, several of them in that order, in that fashion. But other than, I didn't know about the healing glitch, and I didn't know that you could just pause. Actually, maybe I did know about the pause one, but it's been, like, so long, like, almost 20. Oh my god, it's almost been 20 years. You know, now that I say it out loud and put it into perspective how long ago this game came out, oh god, now I'm just feeling how old that is. But that'll do it for here. If you enjoyed his video, make sure to go over to Brit's channel and to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment for him to help his algorithm because he deserves it. And with that, I think we're done here. We out.